Hi guys, welcome to Unreal Engine video tutorials series. In the previous video, we started discussing working with models in Unreal Engine. We understood that in Unreal Engine, models are also referred as meshes. We know that there are two types of meshes, right? Static mesh, skeletal mesh. Static mesh means model without bones. Skeletal mesh means model with bones. In the previous video, we understood how do we import 3D models to Unreal Engine. Also, we understood what are the important settings that we need to focus while importing static meshes. In this video, I would like to discuss what are the important settings that we need to focus while importing skeletal meshes, guys. Skeletal mesh means mesh with bones, right? Skeletal mesh means mesh with bones. Let's see. I minimize it. Here in the folder, I have wolf-fbx folder. I just drag and drop. You can see we have got the fbx import options window. So I say alt spacebar, move, and then I move it down. You can see we got fbx import options window. Here in the mesh section, we have first setting, that is skeletal mesh. It is clearly telling whether to import the incoming fbx as a skeletal object or not. What's the meaning of that? Skeletal mesh setting, you can decide whether to import mesh as a skeletal mesh or static mesh. If you enable this, okay, the imported mesh is imported as a skeletal mesh. If you untick this and then import, what happens is it is going to import the mesh as a static mesh. You can see that our wolf in brackets, you can see it is showing static mesh. It is a static mesh imported as a static mesh, guys. Okay, let me save all and delete this folder. Delete. Okay, I deleted it. Now once again I will import the folder. I drag and drop. This time I am going to tick this skeletal mesh. Okay, I want this time the wolf should be imported as a skeletal mesh. Okay, and then I say import all. You can clearly see now the wolf in brackets, you can see it is showing skeletal mesh. That means this mesh has bones also. Okay, I hope you guys have clearly understood the first setting, that is skeletal mesh. You can enable or disable to decide whether to import the mesh as a skeletal mesh or static mesh, guys. There are some other settings like we have import mesh. Decide whether to import the mesh or not, which is helpful when you are importing only animations, guys. Okay, if you untick, you can import only animations, you don't want mesh, then you can disable the mesh option. Okay, import mesh option. Import mesh LODs, decide whether to import LODs or not. If the 3D model has LODs, it will import those LODs. LOD stands for level of details, right? LOD stands for level of details. If LODs are not there, you can generate LODs in Unreal Engine. You can generate LODs in Unreal Engine. Let me explain it. Okay, you can see we have the wolf fbx file. I double click to open it. So here, if you go to asset details, go down, and you can see how many LODs are there. In the LOD settings, you can see number of LODs only one. There's only one LOD we have. This object, this fox, is made of 11,000 triangles. So whether the object is near or far, it is going to render 11,000 triangles, which is actually not required when the object is far. When the fox is far away from us, we don't see all the details, right? We don't see all the details, like we don't see eyes, nose, all these details are really not visible, right, when the fox is away. So we can generate LODs. When the fox is near, we should see all the details, right? We should see the fox in more detailed way. Whereas the fox is, when it is away from the camera, then we can remove many polygons and still it should look like a fox. Okay, that's what LOD stands for, level of details. Okay, we can generate LODs. We can generate LODs. See, generating LODs is very simple. All you need is set the number of LODs that you want to generate in the LOD settings and click on apply changes and click on regenerate button. You can see here I say I want number of LODs to be 3 and I hit enter. Then I say apply changes and say regenerate. Now Unreal Engine automatically creates the LODs for us. You can see in the LOD picker here, now we have 3 LODs, LOD 0, LOD 1, LOD 2, and Unreal Engine automatically switches between these LODs, okay, based on the distance between the object and the camera. See here the object is near the camera, you can see it is rendering LOD 0, where number of triangles are 11,000. When I say zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, you can see automatically it has switched to LOD 1. And in the LOD 1, you can see number of triangles it is rendering is 2000 triangles. That means almost 9000 triangles Unreal Engine has removed in LOD 1, and still it is looking like a fox for us, right? So this is going to reduce the burden on the graphics card, right? If I go again for, automatically it has switched to LOD 2. Now it is rendering total 1000 triangles, you can see that, right? So what actually Unreal Engine is doing, let me show. If I go here to LOD picker, here is the LOD 0, that is one version of the fox. If I go to LOD 1, carefully observe, okay, carefully observe here, LOD 1, you can see it has reduced some details from here. It has reduced the details, but still it is looking like a fox, right? If I go to LOD 2, you can see more details it has removed. So Unreal Engine, when the object is near the camera, it is rendering LOD 0. When the fox is far away, it is rendering the LOD 2 object, right? That is what the LOD stands for, level of details. Okay, so you can generate LODs if you want. If you want to remove the LODs, all you need to do is set the number of LODs back to 1, say apply changes. Okay, now it is going to have only one LOD, guys. So if I come to LOD picker, you can see that it is saying LOD 0, only one LOD we have. Whether the fox is near or far, it is going to render 11,000 triangles, which is actually not required, right? If you want to improve your graphics card performance, okay, for games, generating LOD is really helpful, guys. So go here and set number of LODs to 3, 4, your wish, hit enter, and then say apply changes. Again, Unreal Engine generates 3 LODs for us, and it automatically switches between those LODs. Let me say regenerate. Okay, let's see whether it has generated the LODs. You can see that LODs are generated. Let me select here auto LOD. Auto means it will automatically switches between the LODs, guys. Okay, LOD 0 we are in. Now you can see it has switched to LOD 1. You can see it has switched to LOD 2, guys. So if you want, you can generate LODs in Unreal Engine for your imported objects, guys. I hope you guys have clearly understood what is LOD stands for. Okay, now let me select this and save all. Let me save all first. Okay, I select this and delete. Okay, I deleted. Okay, now if I go here, drag and drop the wolf-fbx. If you go to mesh section, you can see there is an option called import mesh LODs. Okay, if there are LODs, okay, in the FBX file, you can import them just by ticking this. If there are no LODs, then definitely, as I told, you can generate LODs in Unreal Engine, guys. But it is always good to create LODs, okay, different level of details for the object in the 3D software itself, from Maya or Max, from wherever you bring, guys. Okay, so that is the import mesh LODs. And next we have create physics asset. So this is actually going to generate the physics asset separately, where it is going to add collisions. Okay, so create physics asset, decide whether to create physics asset or not. So if I say here import all, you can see here we have a separate asset with the name physics asset. You can see that wolf_physics asset. So if I open this, you can see that Unreal Engine has added the collision for this wolf FBX, right? So that is the physics asset, guys. Okay, and Unreal Engine also creates a skeleton file separate, so where you can see the bone setup of your character. So if I go to character, bones, and say all hierarchy, it displays the bone setup of the imported FBX file. You can see this is the bone setup for the fox. If you go to character and say bones and say selected only, then what happens here is it displays the bone which is selected. Okay, only selected one it will show. If you want to see the entire bone setup, simply go to character, bones, and say all hierarchy. So it shows like this. Okay, so there are different options we have here, like selected only, selected and parents, selected and children, like this. Okay, so that is about the skeleton, guys. Next we have animation section, where if you want, you can import the animations. If the 3D model has animations, you can import, or you can decide. Okay, you can see that here we have a skeletal mesh. Okay, skeletal mesh we can simply drag and drop into the scene. Okay, that's the skeletal mesh. And then here we have the physics asset, and here we have the skeleton, right? That is bone setup. The other files what you see here, they are all actually the animation files which are imported. Okay, see, I'm going to say save all. Let me delete this, and wolf fpx I'll say delete. So I deleted the folder, you can see. Great. Now again I'm going to import the wolf-fbx folder. Great. This time in the animation section I say import animations off. I don't want to import any animations. I say import all. Now you can see there are no animation files here. We have our skeletal mesh, we have the physics asset, and the skeleton, right? We have these three files. The other files what you see here are materials. The spheres here indicate materials, and the rectangle shapes here indicate the textures, guys. They indicate textures. Okay, there are no animation files are imported actually, right? Let me import. Okay, save all. To delete actually I have to save, guys. Okay, so I'm just simply right click here and say delete, delete, delete. Select the meshes and I drag and drop wolf fbx again. This time I import all the animations and say import all. So for each animation it creates separate files, guys. It creates separate files. Okay, you can see here now we have again animation files. So you should understand, okay, you should understand which file is of which type. So this is a skeletal mesh, this is a physics asset, this is skeleton, this is the animation file. You can see animation sequence is written there, animation sequence. These are all animation files. So if I double click on it, we can see the animation, guys, right? Let me go to character, bones, I say selected only. You can see this is animation. It's a creep animation. If I come here on the right hand side, you can see we can see run animation, sitting animation, walk animation. So these are the different animations. The animation files are created for the wolf fbx file. Okay, so what Unreal Engine does, when you import the fbx file skeletal mesh, it is going to create three important files. One is the skeletal mesh, one is the physics asset, and one is the skeleton. If you don't want physics asset, as I told, you can simply disable this create physics asset checkbox. Okay, if you don't want animations, of course, as I told just now, that you can disable import animation checkbox. Okay, if I open this skeletal mesh, you can see this button indicates skeletal mesh. Okay, this button. If you click on this, you can switch to bones. That is, you can see the skeletal file. You can see the skeletal file where you can see the bone setup. And if you click on this button, it displays the physics asset file. It displays the physics asset file. And if you click on this, it displays all the animations. It displays the animations. So this is actually we call the skeletal mesh editor. Here you have, this is a physics asset editor, this is animation sequence editor. So we have different files open here now, right? Just by clicking on these buttons, you can switch between the skeletal mesh. You can see the skeletal mesh, you can see skeleton, you can see animations, and you can see physics asset, guys. I hope you guys have clearly understood how you can import the skeletal meshes and what are the important settings that you need to focus on while importing skeletal meshes. Okay, and we have discussed how do we generate LODs and remove LODs if you want. We can play the animation. Okay, we can play animation while playing the game. See, if I drag and drop this and click on the play button, there is no animation, right? If you want to play animation, you go to details panel. Okay, go to details panel, animation mode, simply change animation mode to use animation asset. Use animation asset. You can use animation blueprint also. Animation blueprint is a separate class which is used to control animations while playing the game. Based on the keyboard input, mouse input, we can control the animations, guys. Like we can play the idle animation initially. When we press the W key, it should play the walk animation. When we hold shift and W, it should play the running animation. Like that we can control with the help of animation blueprints, guys. That's again another class. Okay, here I simply say use animation asset, and then I choose one of the animation here. Let's say I select run cycle. Okay, run cycle I have selected. If I click on the play button, you see that it is playing the run animation on the wolf. So you can duplicate like this. You can duplicate and choose some other one. Let's say this is going to be a walk animation. I play. See, this wolf is walking and this wolf is running. So like this you can play the animations also, guys. Okay, we'll be discussing how do we control animations while playing the game using keyboard input, mouse inputs, etc. in the upcoming classes. Okay, using the animation blueprint, guys. Okay, for this video, this much is enough, guys. I hope you guys have clearly understood. I suggest you people to watch this video 1 or 2 times. If you have any doubts, feel free to put them in the comment section. I'll be happy to clear, guys. In the upcoming video tutorials, we discuss more about Unreal Engine. For more benefits and be up to date, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Keep learning, keep designing, keep sharing. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. See you in the next tutorial.